Hello there, this is Ujjwal and welcome to another video tutorial on my YouTube channel. Today I will be creating this beautiful frame with you all. So I'm starting with a raw MDF frame, and we are going to just keep that center part apart and use it later on. And the first step that I'm going to is use this Prima heavy gesso in white all over the frame, front as well as the back. This gesso layer will act as a primer and make sure that our surface is protected, and as well as all the mediums go on really well. So we have to let it dry. Once it's dry, I'm going to use this brick stencil from TCW and some texture paste which is from Camlin, from a local store. And now I'm using a palette knife to apply this texture paste with the stencil on the frame. I really love this brick pattern. It's really very versatile, and you might have seen me use it a lot in the previous videos as well. So you just basically flatten it out a little bit, apply as thick or as thin a layer you want the texture to be. So I'm not going very thick here, just a little bit texture onto the frame, and I'm going to go ahead and do that all over the frame in random areas, random parts, so that it's all covered. Again, you can use a Prima texture paste or any other texture paste as well. I just have this locally available Camlin texture paste, and it works really well. So we're going to let that dry. Once it's all completely dry, I'm going to use some white acrylic paint. This is titanium white, again locally available Camlin paints, and just give it a coat of white all over so that it's all homogeneous and ready to take our color and other mediums as well. So I'm going to cover this whole of this with the white paint, front and back, and you can do a couple of coats if you want to. And now I'm using some glimmer mists. One is from Tattered Angels, and the other one I'll just link it down in the description box below. So there is this really peppy yellow, and then there is this brown shade, and I'm going to let it drip and then just cover the whole frame with these two shades. So I have that really nice kind of beige, yellowy, brownish background to work with. So just continue adding your sprays wherever you feel the contrast needs to be. So you can see that I'm just keeping it more on the brown side and a little bit of the yellow, and just let it drip and keep adding more layers as it dries out and as this color settles in. And once it dries, you'll be able to see the texture that we added. It'll pop out a little bit. And next I'm going to just keep it aside to dry and work on the embellishments that we are going to use on the frame. So I'm making my own floral sprays for this particular frame, and I'm using some jewelry wire, some pollens, and then some mulberry leaves and flowers, and I'm going to create these sprays. What this will do is I could add in all the items individually on the frame as well, but the sprays just make the placement and adding the embellishments really easy. So I'm using this green floral tape. Again, this is very easily available, and I'm sure if you had arts and crafts in school, you might have used it. It's a self-adhesive or sticky tape that becomes a sticky when you stretch it. So you just kind of keep stretching it and rolling it around, and it sticks to itself. So you can see that I'm adding some pollens, some mulberry leaves, and then some mulberry roses, tiny roses, and then just tying them all around into a bunch wherever I like the placement. So I'm going to continue adding the pollens and leaves till I'm happy and satisfied with the arrangement here. So I went ahead and created a few more of these sprays so that I have a handful when I'm ready to embellish the frame. Another element that I wanted to add was these chipboards from Papericious. So I have a few vines and leaves. Again, I'll list down the exact name of these chipboards in the description box below, but I'm going to pick some out, and we are going to heat emboss them today. So I'm using the Versamark ink, and I will be using the American Crafts Zing embossing powder in powder color, which is a very mild light baby blue color. And I just dabbed the chipboard onto the Versamark ink pad, and now I'm sprinkling the powder really nicely, really generously, and then we are going to go ahead and just take off the excess and keep that aside. And I'm going to do this process for all of the chipboard pieces and then heat set them all together at once. It just really makes it easy and faster. And you can see that I'm using a metal ruler to hold the elements down because they were just flying away everywhere. So once that is done, I picked out a bunch of Prima Flowers here. I really love them, they're so beautiful. So I'm just going to pick out a few in pinks and yellows and browns, just something that goes with the theme really well. And we will start arranging our composition here. So this takes me a little while. I like to spend some time on this particular step, and once I am happy with the composition, what I do is I take my phone, I take a picture of the composition before gluing it all down. So at this moment nothing is glued down, and that photo really helps me when I'm gluing down things at a later time. And now I'm just going to use Glossy Accents, which is a really strong glue, to adhere everything together onto the frame. And you can see that once I have the composition in mind, it's really easy to go ahead and just stick everything together. And tada, that's it, we are ready with the frame part. So I'm going to keep this aside and work on that middle part. So I'm just using some pattern paper here, and I'm going to adhere some pattern paper on it using some Glossy Accents, because anyways this part would be covered with the actual photo that would be put in the frame, but I just wanted to add a little something for the raw frame as well. So I'm adding this sheet of pattern paper. It's a nice little tiny checks, so it goes really well with the center as well. And then we are going to just put it together, and that is it. The frame is ready. It is absolutely gorgeous in person, and I had a really great time making it. I hope you liked it too and would give something like this a try, adding textures and doing floral arrangements. And I will see you again next time. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you like watching my videos. It is really a big motivator to see people liking and sharing the videos. So thank you so much once again. I will see you again next time. Bye bye.